All right, so today we're doing something a little different. Our source material isn't some dense research paper or a breaking news story. Nope, we're actually going to investigate a single web page. We're going to conduct a kind of digital autopsy of an Amazon page to see what hidden stories it can tell us about how we experience the web.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Here's our first piece of evidence pulled directly from a witness on the scene. Slightly irreverent, but definitely interesting. This quote, it just perfectly sets the mood, not just for the book we're looking at, but really for our whole investigation into its strange, and you'll see, surprisingly complex digital life.
So, every good investigation starts by identifying the subject, right? Before we can figure out how it died or, how it lives online, we first have to establish exactly who or what our digital cadaver is.
And here it is, the official record. The subject is Stiff, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. Now, the date of birth, if you will, for this paperback edition is listed as July 1st, 2004. So we're dealing with something that's been kicking around the digital ecosystem for a long, long time, which for us is great. It gives us plenty of history to look through.
A quick look at the creator's profile and a really clear pattern starts to emerge. Mary Roach's other books, Grunt, Packing for Mars, Bonk, Spook, they all have this one word in common: curious. She is a specialist in digging into the unusual, often overlooked corners of science, which honestly makes the weird state of her book's webpage all the more fitting.
All right, so we've got the identity locked down. Now we can move to the next phase, reading the vital signs. And this is where our investigation starts to get a little weird. Because the vital statistics of this page, the core bits of data, they just don't seem to agree with each other at all.
And wow, this just perfectly illustrates the problem. This is our first major clue. Up at the top of the page, the book has this fantastic 4.6-star rating, but from only 7 reviews. Then you scroll down a bit to the best-selling section, and the very same book has 4.4 stars based on over 8,000 ratings. So what's the real story here? Is it some niche item with a few devoted fans, or a massive bestseller? The page is telling us two completely different things at the exact same time. And the plot just keeps on thickening. Check out this data point. Its bestsellers rank is over 390,000. For a book that supposedly has thousands and thousands of reviews, that number is surprisingly low. So the story gets even more contradictory. Tons of praise, but a pretty low sales rank. The vital signs are they're all over the place. Okay, so when the hard data is conflicting, investigators turn to eyewitnesses. And on our digital crime scene, the eyewitnesses are, of course, the customer reviews. Let's see what they have to say. So if we focus on that really small pool of just 7 global ratings, the ones Amazon decides to show you first, the picture's perfectly positive. It's pretty much an even split between 5-star and 4-star reviews. There's not a single critical voice in the mix. This isn't random, It's a carefully curated snapshot of satisfaction. And this is the top review leading the testimony from a Mr. A.J. Carr. See that verified purchase tag? That's there to give him credibility. His review says the book is everything you need to know about Stiffs. It's short, it's to the point, and it is exactly the kind of glowing endorsement the algorithm wants a potential buyer to see first. And listen, none of this is by accident. Amazon itself explains that its system is weighing all these factors, like how recent a review is, or if the person actually bought the thing, to figure out what's trustworthy. So what we're seeing isn't just a random bunch of opinions. It's a narrative, one that's been carefully constructed by a hidden algorithm. In any investigation, it's always a good idea to check out the neighbors, to understand the kind of company someone keeps. On Amazon, that means looking at the other products its algorithm puts in the same lineup, the digital usual suspects, if you will. And here we can see the profile the algorithm is building. Right next to Stiff is a book called Past Mortems. Just look at the stats. Very similar ratings, lots of reviews, and almost the exact same price. The algorithm isn't just suggesting another book. It's profiling you, the user. It's saying, hey, you're the kind of person who's interested in the science of death. Here are more things for people like you. It's basically creating a digital identity for the customer. But this digital scene, it is far from perfect. As we look closer, we start finding these little smudges, glitches, and errors, the digital fingerprints left behind by time, and maybe a little neglect, showing us the cracks in the whole system. We start with this, a classic ghost in the machine, a simple, frustrating error message right where some content should be.
It's a tiny crack in that seamless e-commerce experience, but it's a reminder that this entire world is built on code that can, and definitely does, break.
Then there's this piece of missing evidence. Right where a key product image or maybe a video should be, we just get a void. Image unavailable. The visual identity of our subject is incomplete, kind of like a faded photograph in an old case file.
And this might be the most telling clue of all. A true digital fossil. A prompt to download Flash Player, which is a piece of software that's been obsolete for years. This isn't just a product page, it's an archaeological site with layers of dead technology still embedded in its DNA.
So, after examining the body, reading the conflicting vitals, interviewing the curated witnesses, and dusting for all those digital fingerprints, it's time. It's time to put all the evidence together and deliver our verdict on the strange digital life of this one book.
So here's what our investigation really shows. First, a product's online identity is fluid, and a lot of times it's totally contradictory, just like we saw with the ratings. Second, the social proof that we all rely on isn't organic. It's carefully curated by powerful, hidden algorithms. Third, the products shown next to it are used to build a profile of you, the customer. And finally, the digital world isn't this pristine, perfect place. It's haunted by glitches, errors, and the ghosts of abandoned technology.
And all of this, it just leads us to one final big question. Mary Roach wrote a book with a single, clear story, but its digital life tells a completely different one. A story of confusion, of curation, and of decay. So as you're browsing around the web, it's worth asking yourself, how much of any story you see online is being told by the human creator, and how much of it is being written and constantly rewritten by the algorithm?